Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another Chamber Check-In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. And I'm honored today to be able to share the Alzheimer's Association, the Greater Idaho chapter. And I have Alex Hilton with us today. Alex is the executive director. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Paul. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. The Alzheimer's disease has affected someone, or if you've been impacted with your own family, and I'm so glad that there's an association here to help families and help people with this disease, and it's my honor today to help share what the Greater Idaho chapter is doing. And Alex, these chamber check-ins, we've been doing them for almost 4 years. And they're really great ways of sharing our chamber member business stories, their products, their services, but most importantly, the people. So let's start with you, Alex. Tell us a little bit about your background and history of work that led you to becoming the director of the Greater Idaho chapter of the Alzheimer's Association.
Yeah, so I started my career in the nonprofit sector. Actually, when I was a junior in college, I interned for the Idaho Meth Project. It was amazing, an incredible experience. I loved it from the get-go. You get to wear so many different hats, develop so many skills. And I knew right away that this is what I wanted to do for my career. I'm not sure if your junior year of college is too late to find that out, but either way, I went back to school, graduated from the University of Idaho, came back, and the Meth Project offered me a full-time position. I was just elated and spent a few years there serving the community, seeing the impact that we were making, and knew that this was exactly what I was supposed to do. A few years later, I decided to further my career and went up to the United Way in Washington. And what an incredible experience to work with a national organization that brings nonprofits together to create impact in a community, providing needs for the whole person. It was an amazing experience, and I appreciate all the work that we did there, the skills that I developed, all that I learned from a national nonprofit organization. And then I actually got a call from a good friend and mentor one day that asked if I would come be the development lead for the Alzheimer's Association and work for her. And I jumped at the opportunity. I was excited to work with her again and also get back to Boise. We all know that Boise is kind of one of those places you always want to come back to. So I was excited to come back. And as soon as I started here, I instantly fell in love with the mission, what we were doing, the families we were working with, the people we were serving. It just felt good. And so as the development lead, I worked on raising funds for 4 years here, and an opportunity came to be the executive director. And I was just so honored that they were as excited to have me as I was to lead this chapter.
Terrific story. And I love the organic trail that led you to the Alzheimer's Association here. I was out at your office picking up some pinwheels for one of our events that we're partnering on. We'll get to that later. But I got to meet one of your folks, Joanna, who's just a sweetheart. And the feeling when you walk in that front door is refreshing, and the vibe is really good. So you got a good thing going on there, Alex. Congratulations on your relatively new appointment.
Thank you.
So I want to help share more about the Alzheimer's Association. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about the national organization. Maybe it's global. Kind of when it started, and then let's talk about when the Greater Idaho chapter began.
Yeah. So our national organization in 1980, there was a group of individuals and caregivers that were navigating this disease themselves and learning the limited resources and education that were available. They were frustrated and felt like, where do we turn? What do we do? There's so much confusion around it. And so they took it upon themselves that they needed to create an organization that connected caregivers and families and individuals to resources. And thus, we have the association today, which is now the leading nonprofit organization for Alzheimer's care, support, and research, which is amazing to say. 1980 doesn't sound quite that long ago. So we've really made huge strides. And it's just because we took this disease that nobody was talking about, and we've created global conversation around it.
When did the Idaho chapter begin, Alex?
So we started in 2012. Obviously, as a national organization, you realize to make impact and serve communities, you have to have a local presence. So we opened our organization here in Idaho in 2012. Our office is in Boise, but we do serve the state of Idaho.
Right. Okay, so 2012 started. You mentioned that there's support and resources. Can we dive a little bit deeper into what you offer? We're talking about caregivers as well earlier in our conversation before we went live. And I think that's important to note. Maybe we can wrap up some of the resources and programs that are offered for those that are dealing with it.
Yes, this is my favorite part. So what we do, first, education. Education is huge. You don't know what you don't know. And there's a lot of loops and valleys. And where do you start? Is it dementia or am I just aging? Those are two very different things. And so we offer education programs. Internally, we also have brochure after brochure of just navigating, knowing the 10 signs, communicating with somebody with dementia, taking away the keys, all these things you don't even think about until you're in it. So education is power. I'm a huge believer in that, one of our greatest resources. And then we also offer support groups. Oh. So support groups are where caregivers or individuals in early stages can come together in a small setting and just feel comfortable, create community around other people that are going through what you are. And so you feel more comfortable connecting and talking about, man, my spouse is doing this again. I'm angry, but I don't want to say that out loud. It's scary. And if you can feel comfortable with somebody and create that community, it does so much for an individual. And so when you mention caregivers, I think that's so important. It's hard to not talk about it or not ask questions, but it's not always a comfortable setting to do so. So huge believer in those. And both of those opportunities, education and support groups, we offer in person or virtually, knowing Idaho's a big state and we have a lot of ground to cover. So virtually is a great option. Also, leaving the home is not always an option you have if you are caregiving. And so we provide both of those opportunities there. And then I think one of our best resources is the 24/7 helpline. And this is really, it's available day or night, anytime. At the other end of that phone is a master level clinician that is just there to help you. They provide information, they provide resources, and they can provide local help. We cannot do it all as an association, but we have community partners, and that's what they are for. What process are you in? Who do you need to call? And so that helpline is truly, if you have any questions or you're questioning even calling it, just try. You can always hang up, but I always encourage people to just give it a try, and they're always so grateful that they did.
That's awesome. Thanks for helping me understand a little bit more about what your organization offers. We were also talking about some statistics, Alex, and I thought that was incredible, where our population is now in the 21st century and how many people are dealing with this disease. Can you give us a national statistic and kind of rank it back and sort of for Idaho? Where are we at?
So nationally, over 6 million Americans are diagnosed with Alzheimer's, which is just way too big of a number to even fathom. And then here locally in Idaho, we have over 27,000 Idahoans today that are diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia. And that too is just a number that cringes me to hear. And also to know, and I think we talked about this, those are the ones that we know of. If any of you have had Alzheimer's in your family or done research yourself, it's not always easy to get a diagnosis. Right. And so that number likely could be higher, but higher or not, 27,000 is just too high.
Wow. And you're based in Boise, and you do these events to raise awareness. Tell us a little bit about a typical year, since we're coming into fourth quarter here. What types of things do you do to help raise awareness and give us a little litmus test of things?
A timeline of events in our office. So we start the year with advocacy. We have Advocacy Day at the Capitol here in Boise, usually about February or March. Just a great way to raise awareness and what we need to do at the state level to make progress here. And then we do go to federal advocacy on the Hill, and raise awareness there. Without that, we need to be the voice for those living with Alzheimer's. And so we're very passionate about both of those. As the year dives into spring, we're into heavy fundraising. We cannot provide these great services to Idahoans and their families without money. It's just not possible. And so we have what we call the longest day, which is June 21st, kind of centered around the longest day in the eyes of somebody with Alzheimer's and a caregiver. Every day is the longest day. And wow. So we ask individuals, whatever it is you like to do, can you monetize that? Is that bingo? Is that fly fishing? We have a lot of bike races. It's a fun way to raise awareness, but also funds. And I personally love attending all of the events, whether I participate or not. I enjoy being there and just thanking those that are doing that. And so the longest day is a great way for us to raise awareness and funds. And then come the fall, actually a few weeks ago, we just wrapped up the Walk to End Alzheimer's, which is our largest fundraiser for Alzheimer's care, support, and research. And we have over 600 walks nationwide, wow. which is just incredible. And again, it is a fundraiser, but it's also just our biggest support group. We bring the community together, show them the progress that we're making, thank them for what they are doing, and then show how can we help you more.
We mentioned caregivers, and I want to dive into that a little bit more because you mentioned it's the daughters, it's the wives or the husbands, it's the family members that are not only working, but then caregiving as well. And it's a 24/7 type of caregiving. What types of resources are helping these caregivers?
I think for caregivers, it is just simply asking, they don't know what to do. And so they're burning the candle at both ends. I need help. A lot of individuals are leaving their jobs because they are now a full-time caregiver. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody's prepared to do that. We're also coming up on this situation where we have what we call the sandwich generation, in the sense of individuals are caregiving for their parents that are living with Alzheimer's or dementia, but also have kids at home that are under 18.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
So you're seeing this double caregiving duties in two drastically different matters, and that's exhausting. It's hard on their mental health, on them physically, emotionally. And again, nobody plans on leaving their career early for something like that. And let's not forget that this is the most expensive disease. It costs a lot to care for somebody, and finances, leaving a job early does not help you prepare for your end of life either. So for us, the support groups are huge. We want people to just talk and communicate. We also want to connect them with community partners in home health services. Are you ready for somebody to help you at home? Or it's a hard thing to talk about, but is mom or dad ready to go to a home? There's a point that you're not really able to give them the quality of care that they need anymore. You did not go to school for that. You are not certified to do that. And nobody wants to put mom in a home, but is it safer for them and also better for your health? And so having those conversations, walking them through the process and the options, again, using our community partners to help with, here's what we can do and what we think is best.
Wow, thanks for explaining that to me, because that's something I didn't even think about. It's really clear now. On the bottom of the screen, I have your website scrolling and the phone number to the office. If folks are wondering how they can help, volunteer, donate, how are other ways that businesses can help the Greater Idaho chapter?
Honestly, we love working with businesses that get their employees involved, whether it is volunteering, fundraising, raising awareness. It is a great way for you to come together as a group and grow and give back to the community. And like we said earlier, it's hard to find somebody that is not touched by this disease.
Yeah.
1 in 3 seniors is living with Alzheimer's or dementia. So I bet that if you went to your company and asked for a raise of hands, it would be very odd to not have at least 1 or 2. And so do something that your employees care about. Let's talk about ways that we can engage together and partner, provide resources to your employees while also providing funds and awareness for the Alzheimer's Association.
Fabulous, Alex. Now we're talking about fundraising, and we have a partnership coming up, and I want to just highlight that. So the Chamber's 140th Gala, Dinner, and Auction will be featuring a celebrity guest speaker. And this year will be Ashley Campbell. And Ashley Campbell's father, Glenn Campbell, had a battle with Alzheimer's and eventually passed away. But Ashley spent 3 years on tour with her father and her mom, and they spent that last 3 years together with Glenn. And so we're partnering with the Alzheimer's Association Greater Idaho chapter and a portion of the proceeds of our event this year will go towards you all. And we're really excited about the opportunity to help raise awareness for Alzheimer's and feature Ashley in this event. Tell us a little bit about that partnership as well, Alex.
We are just so excited and appreciative for the opportunity. It's been amazing to partner with the Boise Chamber, learn more about what you guys are doing. And also, we applaud Ashley and her mom for being caregivers. It's not easy, and we are so appreciative of the funds that will come from this, but more so the awareness. It is not easy to talk about. And so when you have influencers like Ashley and her family coming forward and saying, this disease is not great, we want to share our family's story, it makes others feel comfortable doing so as well. And so I just thank them for what they are doing, and the Chamber for bringing awareness to this very isolating and devastating disease, while also raising funds that help programs here in Idaho, but more so help research. Let's find a cure, let's end this disease, and let's be better about finding treatments and helping those individuals that need it.
Alex, thank you so much for your time with me today. We appreciate your investment in the Chamber. I'm really looking forward to an evening with you and your team and all the 1,000 people that'll be there and all the memory care facilities that'll be there to help support that awareness as well. Alex, thank you again for your time today.
Thank you, Paul. We're so appreciative of you. We'll see you on Thursday.